MediaTek is about to make this year's flagship chip battle absolutely insane. Because according to new leaks, the upcoming Dimensity 9600 Pro might actually be strong enough to fight directly against Qualcomm and even Apple. And honestly, this doesn't look like a normal yearly upgrade anymore. This looks like MediaTek is finally going all in. So here's everything we know so far in very simple English. First, MediaTek is reportedly launching two flagship chips this year, the regular Dimensity 9600 and a much more powerful Dimensity 9600 Pro. Yeah, Pro branding is finally coming to MediaTek chips, and that alone already tells you something big is changing, because usually MediaTek releases one main flagship chip every year. But now they're separating the lineup just like smartphone companies do with Pro phones. And Qualcomm is expected to do the exact same thing with the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 6. So this year's chip war could honestly be the craziest we've seen in years. Now let's talk about the biggest thing first, 2nm chips. According to leaks, the Dimensity 9600 Pro could use TSMC's super advanced 2nm process. That is absolutely huge. Smaller process means better efficiency, less heat, and more performance. Basically, more power without killing your battery. Leaks say this new 2nm process could improve performance by around 10 to 15%, while also improving power efficiency by up to 30%. And honestly, those numbers are massive if true. But there's a catch. TSMC is apparently struggling to produce enough advanced chips because demand is exploding right now. Apple wants chips, Qualcomm wants chips, Nvidia wants chips, everybody wants TSMC's best technology. So there's a chance the normal Dimensity 9600 might not fully use the same 2nm process. It could end up using 3nm instead, or maybe a slightly weaker version of 2nm. Now let's get into the really crazy part, the CPU setup. Dimensity 9600 Pro may use a brand new 2+3+3 design. That means 2 ultra-powerful cores, 3 performance cores, and 3 efficiency cores. And apparently those ultra cores could hit nearly 5 GHz on a smartphone chip. That is honestly insane. We're getting closer and closer to laptop-level speeds inside phones. And if MediaTek manages heat properly, this thing could be a monster. Now, gaming is where things start sounding almost futuristic. The Dimensity 9600 series is rumored to use ARM's next-gen Immortalis Magni GPU, and MediaTek apparently wants this chip to compete directly with the best gaming chips in the world. But the most interesting part is this. The chip may have hardware-level frame generation. Basically, the chip itself can create extra frames in games. So if a game is running at 60 FPS, the chip could artificially boost it to 120 FPS. And not through software tricks, actual hardware acceleration. That is something we normally hear about on high-end PC graphics cards, not smartphones. And honestly, if this works properly without adding lag or weird artifacts, mobile gaming could level up big time. Leaks also say the GPU can do native upscaling, so games could look sharper while using less power. That means better graphics, higher FPS, and potentially better battery life at the same time. And yes, ray tracing is also getting upgraded again, so lighting, shadows, and reflections in games could start looking way more realistic. Now let's talk about another huge upgrade, RAM and storage. The Dimensity 9600 Pro may support LPDDR6 RAM and UFS 5.0 storage. That means apps should open faster, games should load quicker, and overall performance could feel insanely smooth. Honestly, smartphones are starting to feel more like mini gaming PCs now. But MediaTek also seems heavily focused on AI this year, and this part is super interesting. The leaks say these chips may use a dual NPU design, basically 2 AI engines working together. And there's something called Neural Shader Scheduler. Sounds complicated, but here's the simple explanation. The chip can intelligently decide whether the GPU or AI engine should handle certain tasks depending on what is faster and more power efficient. So instead of wasting power, the chip constantly adjusts itself in real time. That could help with AI image generation, voice assistance, gaming, camera processing, translation, and basically every AI feature phones are pushing right now. And here's the crazy part. Leaks say this chip may even power OpenAI's first AI-focused smartphone. That alone makes this chipset very important. Now let's talk benchmarks. Early Geekbench 6 leaks suggest the Dimensity 9600 Pro could score around 4200 to 4300 in single-core, and around 12,000 to 12,500 in multi-core. Those are monster numbers for a phone chip. Not a huge leap over last generation, but still a very strong upgrade. And honestly, at this point, efficiency and sustained performance matter more than just giant benchmark jumps, because nobody wants a phone that becomes a toaster after 5 minutes of gaming. Now, which phones are getting these chips first? Leaks currently point to the Vivo X500, Vivo X500 Pro, Oppo Find X10, and Oppo Find X10 Pro. And the first phones could launch around September 2026. So yeah, the second half of this year is about to become absolutely packed with insane flagship phones. And honestly, this might be the year MediaTek fully stops feeling like the cheap alternative. Because right now, they're not chasing Qualcomm anymore. They're trying to beat them. And if these leaks are even half true, the Dimensity 9600 Pro could become one of the most important Android chips we've seen in years.